Everything you've been told about getting rich is backwards, not slightly off. Backwards. And the man who proved it was one of the richest people who ever lived, worth roughly $400 million in today's money. In the year 65 AD, he was ordered to take his own life by the emperor he had personally raised from childhood. And in his final hours, with guards waiting outside his door, he didn't write about fear. He didn't write about revenge. He wrote about money, specifically about the one mistake he had watched destroy everyone he ever knew: the poor, the middle class, and the obscenely wealthy alike. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what that mistake is, why it's almost certainly affecting you right now, whether you're aware of it or not, and the simple two-question framework Seneca used to escape it completely. This is the story of Seneca and the financial trap he called the only poverty that's real. Let's go back to the beginning. Seneca was born around 4 BC in what is now Spain. He didn't start wealthy. He earned his way into Rome's elite through brilliance, as a senator, a playwright, a philosopher, and eventually the most trusted advisor to a young man named Nero. For years, Seneca essentially ran the Roman Empire from behind the throne, and the wealth that came with that position was almost incomprehensible. Multiple villas, vast agricultural estates, a personal fortune that historians estimate at the equivalent of $400 million today. By literally every external measure, Seneca had made it. He was the success story. The man who came from nothing and ended up advising the most powerful person on earth, with more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. And yet, if you read what Seneca actually wrote during these years, his letters, his essays, you find something strange. He wasn't celebrating. He was warning. Seneca spent years watching the people around him: senators, merchants, soldiers, slaves, the obscenely rich and the desperately poor. And he noticed they all had one thing in common. Not their bank balance, not their social status, their relationship with the word enough. Here's the pattern he described, and I want you to really listen to this, because it is happening to people you know right now. It might be happening to you. A man earns a modest income. He thinks, if I just earned twice this, I'd finally be comfortable. He gets there. He earns twice as much. But somehow, his expenses also doubled. The apartment got bigger. The car got newer. The dinners got more expensive. And now he thinks, if I just earned 3 times my original income, then I'd be set. He gets there too. Same thing happens again. The number that would make him comfortable keeps moving, always just a little further away. Always just one more raise, one more promotion, one more win away. Seneca watched this happen to people earning a few hundred denarii a year. And he watched it happen to people, including, if he was honest with himself, controlling fortunes worth what today would be hundreds of millions of dollars. The number was never the actual problem. He put it into a single sentence, one that has survived 2,000 years, because it is simply, devastatingly true. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Sit with that for a second. He's not saying wanting more is wrong. Ambition isn't the enemy here. He's saying something much sharper. If your desire has no defined endpoint, if there's no number, no point where you'd say, this is enough, I can stop now, then no amount of money will ever reach it. Not $50,000, not $500,000, not $400 million. Because the target was never a number. The target was a feeling. And feelings don't respond to bank balances. Now here's where this gets uncomfortable, because this isn't just an ancient observation. Modern research has confirmed it, almost word for word. There's a famous study where researchers asked people across a huge range of income levels the exact same question. How much more money would you need to earn to finally feel financially comfortable? And the answer was almost eerily consistent. Across nearly every income bracket, from people earning $40,000 a year to people earning $500,000, the answer was roughly the same, about 20% more than what they currently earned. The person making $50,000 said they'd feel secure at $60,000. The person making $500,000 said they'd feel secure at $600,000. Give either of them that raise, and within a year or two, ask again. You'll get the same answer, 20% more. The target doesn't get closer, it moves with you. This is Seneca's trap, playing out in real time in modern survey data, 2,000 years after he described it. So how does this actually destroy people financially? Let's make this concrete. This is where something called lifestyle inflation comes in. And it's the mechanism through which the enough trap actually drains your bank account. Here's how it works. Your income goes up. Great. Reasonable. You earned it. But your spending goes up too, often faster. You move to a slightly nicer apartment because now you can afford it. You upgrade the car because the old one felt beneath your new salary. You start eating out more, traveling more, buying nicer things. Not because you decided to, but because, well, that's just what people at your income level do, right? Here's the part almost nobody stops to notice. Every single one of those upgrades does two things at the exact same time. First, it raises the amount of money you need every single month just to maintain your current life. Second, and this is the brutal part, it shrinks the gap between what you earn and what you actually need. And that gap, the space between your income and your expenses, is the only thing that creates financial freedom. Not your salary, the gap. Earn $200,000 a year and need $195,000 to live? You're nowhere close to free, no matter how impressive that salary sounds at a dinner party. Earn $60,000 and genuinely need $30,000? You are, in the most literal sense, more than halfway to never having to work again. Every unnecessary lifestyle upgrade is a direct trade. You're trading a piece of your future freedom for a slightly nicer version of your present. Sometimes that trade is worth it. Often it isn't. And almost nobody ever stops to actually ask. Now, I want to be really clear about something, because it's the part people misunderstand most about Seneca. He was not some ascetic monk telling people to live in poverty and renounce all pleasure. Seneca lived well. He enjoyed good food, beautiful villas, friendship, travel, art. He never pretended otherwise, and he never apologized for it. What he insisted on was something different: intention. Every expense, chosen, not automatic. Every upgrade, a decision, not a default. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Read that again, because it completely redefines the word poor. In Seneca's framework, poverty isn't a number on a bank statement. Poverty is a state of mind, a perpetual, restless craving for more, regardless of how much you already have. And by that definition, some of the wealthiest people you've ever heard of are, in the most meaningful sense, poor. And some people living on modest incomes, who have simply defined what enough looks like for them, are genuinely, completely wealthy. Wealth, in other words, isn't a quantity. It's the condition of wanting what you already have. Okay, so how do you actually use this? Because Stoic philosophy without action is just a nice quote on a poster. Here's the exercise. I want you to actually do this, not just nod along. Grab a piece of paper or open a notes app, right now, or right after this video. Question 1. What does my genuinely comfortable life actually cost? Per month? Not your aspirational life. Not the life you'd build if your income doubled tomorrow. The life you're actually living, or could live tomorrow, that is genuinely good. Housing, food, transport, the things that matter to you. Health, a few experiences, time with people you love. Write down the real number. Be honest. This isn't about deprivation. It's about clarity. Question 2. Of everything you currently spend money on, how much of it is improving your actual life versus improving your image of your life? The car that impresses your coworkers, the apartment in the right neighborhood, the clothes that signal a certain status. I'm not telling you these are wrong. I'm asking you to simply notice them. Most people have never separated these two categories. Ever. Question 3. And this is the big one. Take your honest monthly number from question 1. Multiply it by 12 to get your annual cost. Now multiply that by 25. That number, based on a widely used financial planning principle that a portfolio can sustainably support, roughly 4% in annual withdrawals, is your freedom number. It's the size of the investment portfolio that could, in theory, sustain your actual life, indefinitely, without a job, without anyone's permission. Write that number down somewhere you'll actually see it. Not as pressure, not as a countdown, as a destination, a defined point on the map, instead of an endless horizon that keeps retreating no matter how fast you walk toward it. Because here's what Seneca understood, that almost all modern financial advice somehow misses entirely. The path to wealth was never primarily about earning more. It's about needing less, on purpose, by design, with intention. And needing less starts with the radical act of deciding in advance what enough actually looks like for you. Let's go back to where we started. Seneca, in his final hours, guards outside. The order had been given. There was no escaping what was about to happen. And in that moment, with absolutely nothing left to gain, no reputation left to protect, no fortune left to grow, he wrote his last thoughts about money. He said that the greatest wealth a person can possess is to be content with little. Not because little is all anyone deserves, but because the person who can be genuinely content with little is free. Completely, permanently free. Free from market crashes. Free from the next performance review. Free from needing the next raise, the next bonus, the next win, just to feel okay. Just free. That single idea, simple to state, brutally hard to live, is what Seneca spent his entire life trying to fully understand. And in the end, it cost him everything to finally get there. You don't have to wait until your final hours to learn it. If this resonated with you, I've put together a completely free guide, the Stoic Wealth Starter Guide. It walks through principles exactly like this one, including a simple freedom number calculator that does this exact exercise for you. The link is in the description, completely free. And if you want to go even deeper into how the Stoics thought about money, fear, and long-term thinking, next video, we're talking about Marcus Aurelius and the single financial mistake that 90% of investors make. He never made it. And by the end of that video, neither will you. See you there.